Well, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Homebody podcast. I am super excited. Today, we have some amazing special guests. We have Belle and Madeline in the house. Would love to introduce them and just tell us a little bit about yourselves and what we need to know about you.
You got it.
Okay. I'm Belle, and I am going into my senior year at Georgia, and I'm an LDP here at Athens Church.
Yay! My name is Madeline. I just graduated from UGA, so spring class of 2026, go Dogs. And I'm currently a resident at Athens Church, so I completed 3 years of LDP, and now I'm getting my seminary degree while still working at the church. So super exciting stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, my name is Hannah, if we haven't met yet. I am super excited about this topic today. Today, we are talking about all things Greek life, sorority, rush, you name it. We have some pretty cool perspectives as Madeline was in a Panhellenic sorority. Belle is in a sorority non-Panhellenic, and I'm not in a sorority at all. So we're just gonna, just dive right in and just learn about all of these things. So I would love to just kind of start with talking about y'all's experience with being in a sorority. What has that been like for you? What was that like for you? And even Rush to walk me through what that looked like for you guys specifically. We can start with you, Madeline.
Yeah. So I was in typical Panhellenic sorority, like what you typically think of sorority if you watch the Bama Rush documentary. That's the kind of vein of Greek life I was involved in. But when I got into UGA, I honestly was really unsure if I wanted to rush or not. I came from a family of nobody really in my immediate family was in a sorority. So I really didn't know a whole lot about it, but I, kind of heard about it and stuff. I had one of my best friends, her mom was in a sorority. So I knew a little bit about it, but very much had no idea what to expect. So I went into it. I eventually decided, okay, I'm going to rush. I'll see if I end up in a sorority. If I don't, I'm okay either way. But I figured, it's a good way to make friends, hopefully, and, get to campus a little early and get used to it. But yeah, so I really kind of didn't know what to expect going into Rush, but got in through Panhellenic and Rush and all of those things, and basically honestly had a really, really great experience with it, which obviously, we're coming from, there's 3,000 or so girls, I think, that go through Panhellenic recruitment every year, so there's obviously a lot of people have very different stories with Rush, but I had a really great experience. I got in, I met some girls during Rush that it really felt like a deep breath, and I was like, oh, okay, I feel like I can really be myself with y'all, and it just very much felt like my place. And then I ended up on bid day, I went that sorority, and then basically within the first week or so, we had a new member retreat and met some girls who I really got along with. I felt like we had similar values, and I think you go into Rush and you hear oh, these are going to be your bridesmaids, and not to be dramatic, but I actually was a bridesmaid in one of their weddings, and I'm going to be a bridesmaid in one of their weddings in the fall. So that very much was my experience. I had phenomenal experience, found really great Christian community in my sorority and out of my sorority. But I think all in all, I was really, really thankful and really lucky I saw the Lord work in it and through it a lot more than I think I was honestly expecting. Which obviously, though, once again, is not everybody's story. There's people who do have that experience, but there's also people who have a really, really hard experience with Rush. But I don't know, I think it's just cool. The Lord can work through all of that. And also, too, there's not just Panhellenic. I'm obviously speaking from a Panhellenic perspective, but there's the Multicultural Panhellenic Council, or the National Panhellenic Council, and Multicultural Greek Council. And then also I know Belle is in a different sorority, so if you wanted to speak to that a little bit.
Belle, go for it.
So I'm in something called SAO, Sigma Alpha Omega. It's a Christian sorority. It is non-Panhellenic, very much not what you think of with the traditional sorority. Our recruitment process is the week after Panhellenic Rush, very different. We have an info night, philanthropy, worship events, a speed dating situation where everyone gets to talk to everyone, which is very unique with it being so much smaller. You get to know everyone. That's something for me that's been a really big part of being in that sorority is I can tell you something personal about every single person in that sorority. We get to do a lot of faith-based things. We have accountability partners. Very, very non-traditional, I would say, but it's been really sweet to have that Christian community because I think for me coming in, I just knew I didn't have the time commitment for regular Panhellenic Rush. And I think everybody finds their place, but it's really good to know that there are other options out there that might fit better for different people.
That's great. I love the different perspectives, so we're going to get to learn all about it. I would say for a girl coming in, whether it's a freshman or a transfer that is, starting Rush or thinking about being in a sorority, but she's a Christian, how would you guys say that, like, how can a girl go about being a Christian during Rush or in a sorority? How can they navigate that life?
Yeah, I think I can speak to that some. Of obviously Panhellenic sororities, it's largely organizationally like a secular setting, but something that my mom drilled into me over and over was like, you have to kind of put out the energy that you want to attract, so like when you're ultimately, like, what Rush is a way to meet people and make friends. So if you're looking for friends, you want to, whether that's in a sorority or not, you obviously want to like be your authentic self and like, okay, Jesus is really important to me. My faith is really important to me. So I'm going to talk about that. And so I think something that people may not necessarily know is for girls coming in through Panhellenic recruitment. So like potential new members, you can bring that up. Like if somebody during recruitment is asking you, oh, like what were you involved in high school? Like something that I brought up was, oh, I was really involved in my church all throughout growing up, and in high school, I was really involved in my high school FCA. So that was something I just really tried to bring up. Just amongst other things. Like I also ran cross country and I also was on prom committee and things like that. So it's important to me. So I'm going to bring it up. And then, if the girl that I'm talking to during recruitment kind of latches onto that and talks about it more, awesome. We get to have a conversation about it. And then, but also if not, I talked to some girls who faith wasn't really their thing, or they just didn't want to talk about it during recruitment. So, we talked about other things and it was still great. And I got to meet a lot of awesome people. So I think that would be my number one thing is like, if you're wanting to find Christian community and like also just as a way to like stay sane during Rush, like the only thing and the best thing that you can bring is your authentic self, so that's just good. Being yourself and knowing, okay, these are the things that are important to me and that's what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, Belle, I would say, because you have a great unique experience where you can, be a Christian in your sorority, because like that's a Christian sorority, which is amazing. But I mean, for both of you guys, how would you say that you guys can minister to people in this setting? Like you're still in Athens, and all of the things happening. How do you guys, continue to minister and be a light to these people? And while also talking about identity, not getting your identity caught up in the sorority life or your friends and your people whenever that's so pushed. I feel like that's, especially for girls, like it's a pretty easy thing to just kind of go to, is like having your identity be caught up in what you're a part of. How would you speak to that and how you navigate that, how to be a light, how to minister to people?
I think the biggest thing is there might be what's considered like an idealistic thing in worldly terms, but that doesn't mean it aligns with your beliefs, your faith, what you really want. And I think it's just important to consider that when looking at all the opportunities there are of involvement things. And I think a big thing is just to ask questions. You can't find anything out if you don't ask about it. And there are so many opportunities out there. You've got to ask about them if you're ever going to find anything out about it.
That's good. What about you?
Yeah. I think once again, it just really kind of comes back to knowing what's important to you. And it is so easy with sorority life, especially, but with just anything freshman year, everything is geared towards freshmen. So it's going to feel like every single club and every single like UGA sports team or, whatever other extracurriculars there are, whatever school you're going to, there's going to be so much pulling for your attention and there's going to be so many awesome opportunities, and it's so easy to get overwhelmed by that. I know, especially with being in a sorority, like my freshman year, my social calendar was packed, which was awesome because it gave me just kind of natural opportunities to see the same people on a regular basis and build friendships that way. But ultimately, the friendships that really stuck were the ones that we had our faith in common, and we would go to chapter for sorority on Monday and then go to a campus ministry after. Or I distinctly remember I think it was the September college nights, me and a couple of my friends that I had met for my sorority, we went, and I remembered sitting next to them. I remember exactly where in the room we were. And I looked over at one point during worship, and one of them was sitting, one was standing, and they were both crying during worship. And I just remembered looking at them and being like, wow, okay, like y'all have authentic faith and like are really strong in your faith, and you're going through the same thing I'm going through. You're overwhelmed and you have a lot going on, but we're also being able to like be in this together. And so I think really it does just come down to like, if you're going to prioritize your faith, like, yes, go to the sorority functions and have fun and make friends that way, but also do things that are revolving around the things that are important to you. So if faith really is important to you, go to that campus ministry or try out that church's college ministry or that church on a Sunday morning. I think that's just a really great way to invite people in and be like, hey, I had a lot of girls in my sorority my freshman year that just would randomly reach out and text and be like, hey, I'm going to this church on Sunday. Do you want to come with me? And I'd be like, yeah, sure. I've met you like twice, but it's a great way to meet somebody, and it's a great way to get to know a new church in Athens and see if maybe, oh, I think this is where I could belong for the rest of my years in college.
Yeah. So. I love that so much that like, I mean, I feel like this is across the board in whatever sororities that, you know, people are in. Like there's going to be girls that are pursuing Jesus, and like whether that's in your sorority or not, like you're talking about, you know, going to these campus ministries and going to church, like there's always going to be a community somewhere in Athens or even whatever college town you're in. Like there are going to be people pursuing Jesus and running after the Lord, and they want you to be a part of that community too. It might not be, you know, as soon as they get there, but if you give it time, if you stay in prayer about it, like they're out there, it'll come. Talking about, you know, being all sorts of different places, sorority, if you're going to church, if you're going to campus ministries or clubs or whatever else that's going to look like for you as a college student, just under the umbrella of like time management, how has that looked? Because I know being in a sorority, especially freshman year, like everything is just getting thrown at your face, and it's great. So many options, so many things to do. Sometimes it's like you're drowning. It's like, what do I choose to do? How do I do it all? There's so much, which is so amazing, but it can be overwhelming. So would love for you guys to kind of like speak on that. How are you able to be involved in your sorority like in a good healthy amount, while also, you know, feeding your soul with good community and people that are life-giving, and whether that's church or ministry or girls in your sorority, like how has that looked for you guys, like balancing your time? Belle, if you want to start.
Yeah, I think it's really just like all about your priorities. You have to really consider your priorities. You have to really know them coming into it and really structure your time around that. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. You can spend them how you want to spend them. I'm big on time blocking just because of everything I'm committed to, because that was why I didn't do panel. Like that was one of the biggest reasons. There was many others, but the biggest one was the time commitment of it. Is I don't have the time to do one with that much involvement. And so I think just looking at what is really important to you, what do you want to make happen? Like, is church a top priority for you? Yes, make it happen. There's so many ways to go about that. Like Sunday mornings, I'm here. This is what I'm doing. Tuesday, college nights, small group, whatever it may be, make it happen. Or like my sorority, Monday nights, we have chapter. And in our chapter, we do a devotional, accountability time, and it's awesome. Like that's a really fruitful part of my week, and I know that. And I just will structure the rest of my stuff. Be like, okay, well, I have this later day. I need to make sure that I get this, and this done before that. And time blocking it out, saying like, okay, well, from 4 to 6, I'm going to do this. And make sure it all happens. But also, I think it's okay to try things and experiment with it. You're coming in. Change is good. The Lord works through a lot of change. And if you come in and you see something's not working, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. It can still, you can change it again. You just got here.
Yeah.
It can change again.
I love that. There's so much time. There's a lot of time to mess up, to retry again. And yeah, I love everything that you're saying. That's so good.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
I think that is the blessing and the curse of freshman year, is you have so much flexibility. I think there are so many different options available, and you know, you're kind of in a spot where I am new here, so I'm not ultra committed to any of these things yet. I think that can be hard. I think something that really stuck with me my freshman year was a yes to one thing is always a no to something else, or a no to one thing is always a yes to something else. I think knowing that sometimes saying yes to sleep is the best option, and you should sleep, rather than like going to another thing on your schedule. I think there just truly are so many opportunities available, which is so awesome. But also you have to make sure you're taking care of yourself and you're having your quiet time in the morning, and you know, you're well rested, and you're doing these things to make sure, okay, the things that I am showing up to, that I can show up and actually be present and be joyful and kind of have that attitude of like being fully present where you are. Because you have the opportunity to be very present in a lot of different places your freshman year. But I think something that was really helpful for me was knowing, you know, there were certain places in Athens that I wasn't going to go, or there were certain activities that I was not going to participate in. So those were just kind of, okay, those are automatic no's for me. I'm not going to go to those things. So that freed me up for other things. That freed me up to, okay, I'll try one new campus ministry a week, you know, like not try and hit, because you can do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday brand new campus ministry every night, but sometimes you just need to be like, okay, I'm picking this one for this week and we'll see how it goes, and that'll be it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think scheduling and time management is so hard whatever season of life you're in.
Absolutely.
So I think just remembering that, especially, you know, if you are a freshman coming into college, just remembering that a yes to something is a no to something else, and what are you saying yes to?
Yeah, I love that. I feel like, I mean, like you said, in any season, time management is always a difficult thing, and especially for college students. I mean, and freshmen, maybe transfers coming in that haven't necessarily had all of this time to like manage on their own. This might be the first time that they're getting to make these decisions. And for that, like I would say, like what you were saying, I loved the, you know, saying prioritizing your yeses and nos. Something I wish that I prioritized more is rest, because there is so much, what we were talking about earlier, like it can be overwhelming. But I think, you know, things like church, campus ministries, they're there. Take your time with, you know, getting to experience these things, but don't feel like you have to, you know, just drown yourself in everything at first. And it's so fun, like go check out these things, but also like prioritize, you know, your quiet time with the Lord. If that's like, you know, maybe saying no one night because you need to stay in and go to sleep early and read a book or something, like do that. But also, I mean, there are so many other things going on that maybe aren't church related. But I would say too, like, prioritize your Sunday mornings, you know, going to church. I've heard this, somebody said one time, going to church on a Sunday morning is a Saturday night decision. Like, you know, it's a lot easier to decide that on a Saturday before, you know, it's early in the morning and you're waking up on a Sunday, like, I don't really know if I want to do this, but you know, set those practices in place where you're like, no, like I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I'm going to go to church and this is going to be a routine for me. I think establishing those routines are really important. But you're gonna mess up and it's okay, and you're gonna feel overwhelmed sometimes and it's okay, but I love what you're saying, and prioritizing those yeses and nos is really good. But starting these things, starting a sorority, you know, even your clubs, whatever that may feel like, I think it might be more common than not for people that are just starting and just meeting these people for the first time to feel like, you know, I don't know if these are my people. Like, did I make the right decision in the sorority or whatever? What would you speak to those people, you know, asking like, what if I don't feel like these are my people? How would you guys answer that whenever, like, you know, you're beginning something and you're feeling that way?
Yeah, I mean, you know, in my case, I kind of mentioned earlier, I did quite literally, you know, it's kind of the stereotypical ideal of a sorority, I think sometimes, is that I did meet a lot of my really close friends my first weekend. The way we became friends was we literally all looked at each other and was like, oh, you don't want to drink? I don't want to drink. And so we made a little group chat and we were like, okay, we're going to do things in Athens that don't involve going out. We're going to go to Cookout and, you know, we're going to like go to the movie theater and we're going to play sardines and things like that. So I think being upfront with like, these are things I'm comfortable with, these are things I'm not, that helped me kind of establish that friend group really early on, or group of friends. But I think I also have so many friends who, like, one of my best friends now that we've shared a room for the past 3 years, we were barely friends our freshman year. And we were in the same sorority, but she was in kind of ran with some different people. Her freshman year just had a little bit of a different group of friends who are also awesome. But we decided to be roommates in the sorority house January of our freshman year without really knowing each other super well. And kind of starting sophomore year, she like became obviously one of my best friends, and like, you know, I think she would tell you, oh, like I really didn't feel like I have a solid community my freshman year, but then the Lord brought it to me my sophomore year, you know? And then I also have friends I have a really close friend who I'm going to be in her wedding this fall. She was a transfer. So she rushed as a sophomore, and she knew one girl in my sorority they were in the same small group at Athens Church, actually, I think. And so they kind of knew each other and got connected. And then we became really great friends. And then she ended up being really involved on our exec board and all of those sorts of things. So I think being in a sorority and finding your people is going to take time, and it's going to look different for everybody. Like, I don't think you need to feel like there's one right way of like, oh, I have to have my best friends by September or else I'm doing something wrong. Sometimes it's not anything you're doing. It really does just take time. But think some encouragement in that is like the Lord's timing is always going to be perfect. Sometimes it's really, really, really hard to wait on that patience and like finding those people that you feel like you really click with. But I think even from somebody I did find good friends that I'm still really close with. My first week of college, I still had moments in October and November and March of my freshman year where I was realizing, oh, I did just become friends with you guys. And like, a lot of my friends from high school I had known for 6, 8, 10 years. And so realizing, okay, this is a new friendship. And yes, we got really close really fast because it's college and you're around each other all the time, but it's still going to take time and you're going to have that little honeymoon phase and realize, oh, wait, you're not perfect. We don't completely agree on everything. Yeah. And you're going to have those ups and downs and bumps in the road with friendships that you're going to have to navigate. But ultimately, it's just finding people of like, okay, we have the same values. Like you're somebody who's bringing me joy and I'm bringing you joy, and we're able to like share in the fruits of the Spirit of the Lord together, which is really awesome. Yeah. So yeah, I just think it looks so different for everybody, and that is okay.
Yeah. But what's like for you finding your people?
Yeah, I would say kind of piggyback off of that, give it time. I had a similar experience where I got very lucky. I think it was our second recruitment event. One of my best friends we met, my roommate and I, who were already really close within like a week of living together, we met her. We're like, okay, we're great friends. By the end of recruitment, we had found one more, and we've been like best friends ever since. But over time, I mean, obviously kind of like what Madeline was saying, where you realize it is still a new friendship and you're still like, you can grow in that and that can be really fruitful. But there is time where it's like, okay, I haven't known you my whole life, like a lot of my other friends who I was really close with from high school or where I grew up. So that it's going to look a little different. But by and large, you can find your friends, but it's also okay. Like you might find your community later. Like one of the girls, her roommate we're also best friends with her now. She's not in our sorority. You can find friends outside of your sorority too. And I think that's really important to remember that it doesn't have to come from your sorority where you're with them every day or you're surrounded by them or you're living with them, whatever the situation may be. That doesn't have to be your community just because those are the people you're around. Your community can be the people that you're not around all the time. Some of my best friends even are still like, they live an hour away from me, and it's great. Yeah. Like, because I mean, you have to put a lot more intention into being friends with them. And I think it's okay to remember that just because you have people that you're surrounded by and that they are really good friends, it's okay to find friends elsewhere too.
100%. I mean, I can attest to that. I'm not in a sorority, but like, man, I found people through campus ministries, and obviously Athens Church has been a huge role in it. But even just like, it's crazy the amount of friendships that can just come from like knowing people that connect you to somebody that connect you to somebody else, and then just like all of these friend webs interweaving. And then, I mean, one thing I love about living in Athens and college town is majority of the people that you're hanging around are college students that are just always open to making friends and finding new friendships and people and pickleball hangouts and like running around doing whatever. Like it's just the most perfect place to be social and be a social butterfly. And if you're not a social butterfly, to kind of push yourself and, step out and maybe go to a church event alone or like whatever it may be. But I love that like it takes some time though, and it's gonna take some patience before you really find maybe your core people. I mean, I know some girls that are even in a sorority and they didn't find their friend group until their sophomore, junior year of college. And it just takes some time. But know that it's not hopeless, and it's not all lost if you don't find your girls, like on bid day or whatever it may be. But I mean, just kind of like along the lines of this, how has church played a role in your lives with serving? I mean, you guys both like work here now, which is amazing. But how has that looked, I guess, kind of along the lines of like time management, but just even for like your heart, like navigating being in a sorority and all of those things, and also being super involved in church and serving in small groups. Like, speak on that. Start.
Yeah, I think, again, my experience is really unique with that because within my sorority, I remember when we first got here, there was a thing of all the girls that were current members. It was, where do you go to church? Can you tell me about it? What do you do at your church? Are you involved? Are you just attending? Can we come with you? Like, do you need a ride? It was like all there for us. So that was really sweet to get to see it from that perspective, but it's still, you need to find your own place with that. And I think serving was really, really impactful for me. I mean, Sunday mornings I did guest services, so I got to attend and serve within the same service. So that could be different for everyone depending on what you're doing, but that's been really, really sweet for me. A girl I met on guest services ended up being my neighbor. So like stuff like that, like it's just really sweet, unique experiences. But I mean, I've loved it, and I just think it's really important to just prioritize that.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, I really kind of church hopped around my whole freshman year, before eventually kind of spring of my freshman year, I decided, okay, I really want to serve. I had served all throughout high school at my church, and so I was like, okay, I miss it. Like, I want to be back serving. I serve with high schoolers, and basically kind of decided, I was like, okay, I think Athens Church is my place, you know? And then eventually, like, LDP kind of fell into place after that. So that was just an added bonus. But I think, I don't know, I mean, it's been so huge, but it's also been so great I have my friends that I made for my sorority, and some of them do go to Athens Church, but some of them also go to different churches in Athens. And we've gotten to talk about, oh, here's what the pastor at this church talked about this Sunday. Here's what the pastor at this church talked about this Sunday. I think that was a really cool just kind of unity between the body of Christ that I didn't really see in high school. I think all of my friends pretty much went to the same church when I was in high school. So it's been really cool to see, okay, I have friends who are really following the Lord, and they may go to a different church than me, or we may go to church together. And just getting to kind of come together and talk about those things have been so awesome and so fun. But also it's been really cool and unique of having, you know, like, I'm obviously really involved at Athens Church, but getting to make my Athens Church friends too, you know, like I have that kind of like other group of friends that I'm able to process with and hang out with and talk with, has been a really, really great way, I think, for me to stay grounded and not be kind of overcome by the whole sorority life, of having just kind of that group of, okay, y'all, you know, I've met people who completely are not in sororities, who are completely different majors than me, that are from completely different places than me, that I for sure would not have had the opportunity to meet if I'd kind of stayed in the sorority bubble, which has been really, really cool.
That's good.
But then I also have my friends from my sorority that are following the Lord and that are going to different churches around Athens. So there's also that aspect of it. So
yeah. No, I love that. Yeah. Kind of hitting a little switch up. Rush, which when this episode comes out, I think Rush starts in like a week or two, which is super crazy and exciting, and all of the things. I'm sure there's probably some anxieties going on, and with that, as I feel like it would be a normal feeling to feel.
Yeah.
I know, Madeline, you touched earlier on like how to navigate Rush as a Christian. Can you talk about it? Can you bring it up? You kind of went over that a little bit, but what's just some encouragement along the lines of maybe that of a Christian going into Rush, or maybe someone that isn't necessarily a Christian and is just, you know, wanting some encouragement?
Yeah.
What would you guys say to this process in Rush overall?
I mean, first of all, just speaking to the anxiety going into Rush, like, that's valid. Rush is a lot. You're going to be exhausted. You're talking to so many people. It kind of feels like the decision is out of your hands. You feel like it's going to impact the whole rest of your college experience, and that feels huge. And that's valid. Like, that's okay to be nervous about that. But also, I think something, which once again, we talked about this earlier, but something that was so helpful for me was remembering that, okay, even at the end of these 4 years of college, like, these girls aren't going to be in that sorority anymore. You know, they may be like alumni or whatever, but it is a temporary thing, and it is an imperfect thing like anything else in the world. But I think something that was really, really helpful for me was just remembering, like, okay, this is who I am. This is who I'm going to be. I want to find people who like me for me, so I want to be myself, and really just kind of not being afraid to bring up, like, yeah, I was really involved in church in high school, and I want to get involved in campus ministries. Talking about that during Rush, I think connected me to a lot of really awesome people that I then got to have friendships with, like, throughout the rest of college. There were some really awesome girls a year older than me in my sorority that have become mentors to me, and who've kind of walked ahead of me in faith, which has been so cool. But yeah, I think just remembering that, like, okay, if you end up in a sorority, if you're super excited for Rush, if you're absolutely terrified about Rush, like, the Lord is going to work through all of that, and his plan for your life and for college and for your friendships and providing for you is not inherently based on what sorority you go, you know, or if you end up like, or if you like even end up in a sorority at all, you know, like, I had some friends who didn't go through Rush at all, still found great friends, you know, and
Me too.
I just think, exactly. And I just think it's so cool of, like, I did see the Lord work so much through Rush, but I think so much of that was I went into it so open-handed of, like, Lord, if this is something you have for me, like, show me what that is. And if it's not, okay, I trust that you have something else for me.
So good.
I think just praying pray through rush. That's such a huge thing of just being like, okay, Lord, like, I think using that discernment of, okay, like, I think I enjoyed these conversations, but I really enjoyed these conversations, or I don't know, I felt like these are people that I could see myself being friends with, or I don't know, I don't necessarily know that this is my crowd of people. It doesn't have to be some sort of big, judgy, crazy thing. Sometimes it really is just using discernment of like, okay, where is the Lord leading me to?
I love that. Yeah, pray through rush. That is, I mean, just huge. I mean, I feel like rush is one of those things where it's like you can't just handpick exactly what you want. Like there's so much of a process that goes behind that. But what peace it is to just like give it to the Lord and be open-handed of like the heart posture of like, God, like I don't necessarily have all of this under control, but I know that you do, and I know that if I'm going through this, you're gonna place me where you want me, and I'm gonna trust that. And it's hard, but it's also almost freeing just to be able to let go of it and just be yourself and go through that. But I know your experience with rush is a little bit unique and different, but I mean, same thing. How would you give encouragement to that freshman or transfer coming in, going through Panhellenic rush, or what you got to experience?
Yeah, I would say pray about it, keep an open mind, and don't change who you are. I would boil it down to those 3 things. I think you just need to know what you're looking for, know your boundaries, and don't waver on that. Stick to it, I think. But the biggest thing I do think is praying about it, and also just finding contentment in the unknown, because the Lord works in some of the biggest ways during the unknown. Like He gets to say when and how, and I think you just have to learn to like be content in that and find joy in that and be excited about all the unknown things that are coming, because there are so many good things coming, and you're not going to know what they are until you've experienced them. And I think be excited about that.
Yeah, I think it's cool too. Like you're stepping into literally a whole unknown, and it's just like God's gonna get to do what He does best and work in your life, and you're gonna get to watch it and see that unfold. Man, I love all that we've talked about today, guys. Thank you so much. But I mean, I guess last question I would ask you: is there any piece of advice, encouragement, anything that you want to hit on before we wrap things up?
It's really just like you said, Bill. I think you wrapped it up really, really well. Of just knowing who you are and praying through it, and like sticking to your boundaries and not wavering on it. I think just discernment and taking things day by day is so huge. Of like this is a crazy process, and the transition into college is huge. Or you may be rushing as a sophomore and you're feeling kind of awkward of like, I don't know, are these people already established? Just being open to what the Lord has. And I don't know, I think just being hopeful I think you can be hopeful for rush of, yes, it's hard and it's scary and it's gonna be exhausting, but also like I've seen the Lord do so much through it and work in so many really cool ways through the sorority that I was in. I don't know, I think you can just be excited about it.
I love it. That's great. Yeah. You have anything, Mel?
I think I would add is that you can change your lifestyle to fit the gospel, but you can't change the gospel to fit your lifestyle. And I think that you need to just remember the truth of that and the truth of the gospel when going into it, and just be aware of that as you go through the process so that you can kind of evaluate as you're going. But again, just be excited about it. I think that's the biggest thing, is just find joy in all of it and all the new things and how the Lord's going to work in this process and just throughout your next 4 years here.
Yeah, it's fun. It's meant to be fun. It's fun and it's crazy and all the things, but so good. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for all of this encouragement. Man, I'm learning so much throughout this whole conversation. But if you are an incoming freshman, a transfer student, about to, hit rush and do all of the awesome, fun things, we want to let you know that we have a campus that is literally 2 miles away from UGA's campus, our Beechwood location. It's a great place to plug in, come on a Sunday morning, and we would just love to see you there, meet some of our friends here, and join in community. It's a great way to just be connected and, man, find some other community and groups of people outside of a Greek life and sorority. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you next time.